such an asshole!
Yawn. Hello. Good morning, children. From San Diego, where it's warm. Del Mar, technically. Because I just said we're in Del Mar. Del Mar is like the Waizaze, and Waizaze is like the Upper East Side, and the Upper East Side is like any typical spoiled little brat. Anyway, a young man writes, we're continuing on with our IT. This is one of the 3 requests we received where I did not have the answers for specific things. I certainly have my take on individual people's situations, but that's why I'm recommending everyone go and read the article that my friend wrote about working in IT in 2017. So there's the specifics and details there. I could just give you my opinion, which is what I'm doing, but if you wanted the details, go read that article. Is it in the comments? No, it's not going to be in the comments section or the description below because I'm too much of a lazy fuck to go and copy and paste it. Anyway, a young man writes, hi, asshole. My name is, we're going to call you Bob because I don't want to identify you because you're a very specific kind of name. I'm a long-time watcher and first-time customer. I'm from Iraq, but I live in Toronto, Canada. I'm 19 years old and I'm a freshman in university and going for a degree in IT. Here's the link. My problem is, am I making a mistake by going to a degree instead of certifications? Because a lot of IT job postings around Toronto demand degrees, but certifications are just an asset. So what is the best option for me? More things about me. I have been working as a server and a cashier at a place for 3 years. Working there sucks, but pays good enough to afford bus tickets to commute to my school and buy my needs and wants. Listen to this guy. You know, you guys want to complain about, immigrants coming in, and you have every right to. But right here, he's happy because he has the bus fare. Just want to point that out to you little spoiled little brats and cunts over in your fucking suburbs. I gotta run. My dad didn't buy me a car, man. And this guy's like working at a job he hates, low level. Not even in IT, so he could afford the bus and he's happy. I just want to point that out. Just want to point that out to you little spoiled brats out there. Even though it's Canada, you guys are just basically America's hat, so. So they're good at bus tickets. Also, after I finish my first year, I'm planning on joining the Canadian Army. My parents are okay with this as a reserve, so I could still attend school while being in the Army. Yeah, you get better pay, though, too. Than just working regular clerk. I'm interested in becoming some kind of tech expert, more specifically communications and information systems specialist, so I can have more IT knowledge and experience getting paid for it and put in my resume. Here's the link. Okay, that is exactly what you should be doing because how can you put... You're killing like 3 birds with 1 stone is essentially what you're doing. You're going to get a better job and better pay. Now, you might be called out to the lines to get your ass shot, but that's a risk that you seem to be living in the real world and know that when you join the military, you might get shot. Whereas some people here, I don't know if you remember, but back in the second Iraq war, there were articles going around where the parents of the kids who were in the military were complaining that their kids were now being sent overseas and they might get shot. So I think you kind of know that, though. But the other thing is it's going to get you real-world experience. It's then going to open your eyes to the different subfields of IT. You're looking at communications and stuff like that. But you'll say, oh, I like that. I don't like this. This I have a penchant for, that I don't. So you're going to get experience. You're going to get higher pay. You're going to figure out where you want to go. And then... from there, and I'd almost maybe hold off on IT, going to college, because yes, a degree is not going to hurt. Yes, they're asking for a degree over in Toronto and Canada. But in other words, until you know what is a really good subfield of IT, like, oh, I'm going to learn Python, or oh, I'm going to learn this, get this certification, or I'm going to go cybersecurity, whatever it is, it pays to get that experience first before you invest your time and money going to college. Now, the thing with college degrees, I'm just going to assume it's the same in Canada, they may teach you 1 or 2 things that are kind of in demand at that time, but a lot of it's going to be more theory. So you're going to get more practicality and you get the work experience. So this is the exact move you want to do. You get the experience, you get to get your feet wet first, you get higher pay. So I would almost scale back to part-time. Like, take only the classes you really needed to take in college, get your feet wet, figure out what you'd like to do, and then, while you're in the reserves, while you're in the military, oh, here's what I got to do. And it'll become a much more clear path as to what you should study and what you should specialize in. Or it may get to the point, this would be the ideal situation, because you can always go back to college, is you get trained in some really in-demand thing that you can not only do in the military, but you can do in the private sector as well. So you do the reserves and also, oh, wow, I got this skill. And then you just start going to work right away. And then that's when college will take a back seat because you don't need it. The point of going to college is to make money, to land a job. You already got the job. Then you're also working the reserves. And then it's kind of more than like, well, I'll get a degree to enhance the resume, maybe. But then you go very part-time because you've already succeeded in landing a job. So it's kind of I know it's not, here's this very clear delineated path that you must take. It's more a wait and see. Because what you're going to find out in the military is also then going to determine your next step. But yeah, that is the most optimal route you could go and what I'd recommend because they're going to give you training, you're going to get work experience, better pay, and then you can, well, maybe I'll go to college. But don't make your parents happy, and you can't just be working reserves. You got to do something else with your time. So anyway, that was the other thing. Since you are from Iraq and your other language is not English, I know this may suck, but I will tell you a story. I wanted to become an economist and a banker. I did succeed, and I was an amazing economist and banker because I predicted many things, but I was also a very horrible economist and banker because economists and bankers are not paid to predict bubbles or make money. They are paid to comply and tell your bosses what they want to hear. So in that regard, I was very, very, very bad. Now, as good as I am in economics, as much as I want to become an economist, the real world told me that I was much better received to become a dance instructor. And that took me down a path when I was 23, 24 that I wasn't expecting. Whereas like I taught dance on the side and all of a sudden it's not that I was really good. I'm really good at being an economist. I'm really good at being a dance instructor. I'm a really good dancer. It's what society wants out of you is that kind of what determines what you should do. Not that you shouldn't pursue your dreams or you shouldn't become a programmer. That makes complete sense because this world desires programmers. But you may make a lot more money going into intelligence or a translator, and not just in the Canadian Army, but I'm sure there might be some gentlemen down south of the 49th parallel or 48th parallel, I forget my history. Maybe inquire with the U.S. military. They might pay a little bit more. You obviously have the background, you know Iraq, you speak the language. That is something to consider. If you don't want to have anything to do with that, you'll make a fine living on your own, IT, absolutely, Canadian reserves, nothing wrong with that. But you may be paid a lot more and you may accelerate through life a lot quicker, your career, if you were to consider intelligence. You can even become a spy, then you get dangerous, but that's why your name is Bob on this video. But just something to consider, because and that's how they're going to look at you. They're going to look at you and ask you, like, dude, you speak Arabic? Do you speak Farsi? Do you speak any of these other languages? You've lived there? Hey, Bob, how would you like to be commissioned as a lieutenant? And we get you training, and then you become James Bond, international man of mystery, but you're not British. But just something to consider, that your natural gifts, your natural talents that you have, you may not, like I didn't really set out to become a ballroom dancer, but that's what it ended up becoming because it paid a lot more, and it actually was pretty fun. It was a lot of fun. I got laid a lot. It was great. Always sleep with your students. But you won't have any. You'll be getting shot while you're in deep cover behind enemy lines. So, anyway, just some thoughts. Best of luck to you. Toodles.